There have been 33 signings since Fergie left, and I'm not sure. Well, I know, having done the list, that there aren't many good ones. So it was harder to find a top three worst than top three best because there's so few good ones. But in terms of the worst, let's start with the third worst, who I had Bastian Schweinsteiger, who came in from Bayern Munich, was clearly past his best, could barely move around the pitch, wasn't fit enough, and he left about 18 months, 2 years later, after Jose Mourinho realised very early that he just wasn't good enough. He just couldn't move, and a lot of players at United at the time. I spoke to one player who just couldn't believe they'd signed him because he just didn't contribute anything apart from being, a good guy in the dressing room with a bit of experience. But in terms of playing, waste of time.
Number 2 now in your worst list. Now, this is where I might have a little bit of a bone to pick with you in this one, but you have Angel Di Maria.
Mm-hmm. There's an actually worse player, I think, at number 1, but Di Maria almost came top, probably because his wife didn't like Manchester very much, and she's been talking about it this week, that Manchester wasn't the greatest place. So she wasn't happy, he wasn't happy, he was never happy with Van Gaal. I think the thing with Di Maria is that he's such a talented player, and he looked like he was the new number 7 at United. He had all the attributes. He just won the Champions League at Real Madrid. A really good player, but he had a great debut, but after that it went downhill, and it was clearly an issue with him and Louis Van Gaal. They just didn't see eye to eye, and I just thought Di Maria, halfway through thought, I want out of here quickly, and the rest of the season just carried on where he didn't. Sometimes it looked like he wasn't really trying, and he shouldn't really say that about a player, but I remember being at his last game of the season at Hull, and he just didn't want to know, and it was just such a shame because he was such a talented player.
And then in at number 1 as your official worst signing for Manchester United in the post-Fergie era is none other than my namesake, Alexis Sanchez. Wow, great for that one. But funnily enough, I don't think many people will argue with you on this one. The thing is, he's still too close for comfort, I suppose some would say.
Yeah, now, you see, I could have given this Di Maria quite easily, but the reason I'm giving it to Sanchez is because Sanchez came to United as a Premier League player, so he had no issues with kind of getting used to the country, getting used to the league. He was, well established as a Premier League player at the time, so there was no excuses in terms of assimilation or getting used to the country. And he's just been an absolute disaster. He just, he's had injuries, and he didn't really see eye to eye with Jose Mourinho. But still, from what he did at Arsenal, a player that had, made the Premier League his stage, he went to United and it was just a disaster, an absolute disaster. And, bad news for all United fans. He's going to come back this summer because Inter Milan probably aren't going to sign him permanently. There's not really a market for players on his wages, certainly in this stage of the coronavirus crisis where there's no money around. So welcome back, Alexis Sanchez, and hope it's second time better than last time.
On the topic, just because speaking about Sir Alex Ferguson, I mean, he did the ultimate mic drop before he left, and that was winning a Premier League title. Whether people had questions about the team or not, he proved that it was still a title-winning team. We've not seen a Premier League title-winning team since. Is it going to be another 7 years, knowing that United are in this rebuilding process, before we can see United win the Premier League title again?
Let's be honest, they haven't really been close in 7 years. They've been absolutely nowhere near winning the title. They came second under Jose Mourinho, but they were so far behind Man City, it didn't even count really. So, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer seems to be making some progress, but the big issue at the minute is that Liverpool are pulling away from the rest. Man City will come back, so you've got some pretty formidable rivals. But as we all know, it took 26 years last time before when they had a long drought. Liverpool have taken 30 years and still haven't won it, but I think they will in the next few weeks, possibly. So it could be another 7 years. It's bad news for Man United fans, but I don't see it happening anytime soon where they're going to be champions again.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.